This is my review of Bigfoot Quest for July 6, 2010, and also HBM's Cryptid-Corner for July 7th, 2010. Bigfoot Quest was just a call-in show. There were several questions fielded from the chat. Essentially, I called in and talked about the importance of research and also the importance of interaction with the Sasquatch. The idea that you don't find Sasquatch, Sasquatch finds you. And I also talked about some upcoming crypto programming such as the upcoming BFRO series, or maybe I talked about that on HBMs. I don't really remember. But anyway, it was on HBMs, I think. But Bob kind of teased me a little bit about my collection of Sasquatch memorabilia. Talking about how I had a museum. Oh yeah, he teased me a little bit, and but we talked a good bit about some things in the Bigfoot world and about the recent North Carolina sighting. I think that's mainly what I talked about. Bob was not familiar with it. He was not familiar with the Nobby sighting, which happened about a month ago. So I kind of refreshed him on that. Mike was more familiar with it than Bob was. And then Abe called in and teased me about my quote-unquote filibustering. But he also talked about how he's changing his schedule over to Monday nights, starting next Monday. Taking the place of Sasquatch Watch Radio. What was I going to say? He's having a show on Friday, and then he's going to do another show. He's going to do the show at its regular time starting Monday. So you're going to get two MNBRT radio shows this week for the price of one. And Abe just basically talked about that, and talked about the importance of research and things of that nature. He also said that it'll be much easier on him to have the show on Monday night rather than on Friday night, because Friday is a good time for him to get out in the woods, and that's what he wants to do. Other than that, there were no other callers to the show, but anyway, interestingly enough, this was kind of a bonus show for everybody, because usually Bigfoot Quest is only on the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. But Bob and Mike decided to give us a little bonus show, so we had a bonus show for this month. Anyway, I'm not sure what Bob and Mike have planned for next week, but it will begin at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, www.blogtalkradio.com/Bigfoot_Quest. And then on HBM's Crypto Corner, Bill and I welcomed Nancy Snodgrass to the show. And we talked about hers and her husband's sighting from February of 2009, the sighting that they had at Salt Fork State Park. And also about the research that they've been doing at Salt Fork ever since. That's kind of what got them started. This is what got them started, was the sighting they had at Salt Fork State Park. We talked about Nancy's videos. She's got several interesting videos which might be of a Sasquatch, but she's not saying that they are of a Sasquatch. So that to me proves to be very interesting. As she took some questions from the chat room, including from Abe and from Teresa Squatch Widow, and from a few others. Bill Green asked the standard question as usual. Bill Green also asked her some other questions, which I can't recall off the top of my head right now. Now, I also, in the news update that I gave, I talked about the crypto programming that's coming up, such as Bob Saget's Strange Days, which will air sometime late this summer or early fall, which features the BFRO, a segment that features the BFRO. Plus the upcoming Fact or Faked program, which will be on the Sci-Fi Channel. A&E will be airing the Bob Saget's Strange Days. Plus the upcoming program on Sci-Fi, which will premiere next Thursday night at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, Fact or Faked, and they're supposed to have a segment on Sasquatch. And one of the hosts of the show is former producer and former co-participant on Destination Truth, Jael DePardo. She'll be on Fact or Faked. And then also the BFRO is coming up with their own television series. They're shooting the pilot in Alaska. They're shooting the pilot for Sasquatch the Ultimate Hunt. I got that information from the Bigfoot Times newsletter from Daniel Perez. And they have 2 current BFRO members plus an adjunct former member. Those members being Matt Moneymaker and James Bobo Fay. And the adjunct former member is Cliff Barrickman, and they also have a female biologist from Seattle with them for the filming. So we talked a good bit about that, and we talked about how there are areas with history of sightings, and Nancy also talked about some of the things she's looked into in Pennsylvania. She and Bernie have looked into some reports in the state of Pennsylvania. So all in all, 2 great shows, and HBMs was great. I thought Nancy was a terrific guest, and she really did a great job. Next week, we'll be welcoming Melissa Hovey, the chairperson of the American Bigfoot Society. She'll be on the show. She's a longtime friend of mine. I was, of course, fortunate enough to meet her at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference a couple months ago. And she'll be the guest next week on HBM's Crypto-Corner, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, www.blogtalkradio.com/HBMs-crypto-corner. And one more thing before I forget, also there's supposed to be a new special on the Gui Rung. And I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's Gui Rung. Yeah, that's it. Gui. I can't do it. I can do it once and I can't do it again. Anyway, the Vietnamese version of Bigfoot, which Jeff Meldrum talked about at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference and also the Oregon Sasquatch Symposium. The Vietnamese version of Sasquatch, which is seen in the Con Tum province in Vietnam. And there's supposed to be a special featuring Dr. Meldrum, which is going to air sometime soon. I don't know what network, and I don't know when or what time, but it's supposed to air soon, hopefully. Anyway, we do want to say, as always, we do encourage you to please tune in and support great research.